Alright guys, welcome back to another operaomnia video where we're going to be talking about three characters who are going to be getting their LD extensions: Vann, Kefka, and Ardyn. Now Vann is also going to be getting his rework, which a lot of players have been waiting on for a good minute now. Now I am predicting, and please note that this is just a speculation based off of what happened with the first Equinox event and the banner that was attached to it, which was the Noctis, Shantoro, and Terra banner. But I am predicting that these three characters that we're going to be talking about in this video are going to be attached to the next Equinox banner that is dropping on the 30th of August. Now this could change, but based off of what happened with the previous one, I feel like they are going to release this banner alongside with the next Equinox event. Now again, things could change, but I'm letting you guys know right now that this is kind of like, in a way, like a disclaimer to protect my cheeks in case some of you guys come back and say like, oh hey, you was wrong, or you know, this came out with a different banner. I'm just letting you guys know, because I gotta be honest, I don't want to hear it. So this could potentially change, seeing as how everything has been pretty much a big mess ever since Setzer and his banner has not dropped yet in the global side of operaomnia. So with that being said, we're going to be talking about all of that in this video. We're going to talk about their LD extensions. We're going to talk about Vann's rework and how powerful he does become with all of the upcoming changes that he is getting. So as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future operaomnia content. Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Let's first talk about Ardyn and Kefka with their LD extensions, and then we'll move on to Vann, and then of course we will get into the should you pull portion of the video. So we'll first start off with Kefka's LD extension. So whenever you use his LD ability, he inflicts the enemies with 3 debuffs that last for 5 actions before he hits the enemies with any brave attacks. Then he hits them with a 6-hit magic brave plus an AoE HP attack, followed by an 8-hit magic brave plus an AoE HP attack that now deals full HP damage. He got an increase in brave potency by a large amount. He deals weakness damage to debuff enemies, and he grants a buff called the Dancing Mad for 8 actions, and he also gets a free ability used to his skill 1, skill 2, and C65 on his following turn. Now the Dancing Mad buff makes it so that he gets a Stolen Brave max Brave overflow limit increased by 40%. When the turn begins, he recovers Brave based on 20% of his own max Brave. He gets a 20% Brave damage delta and an HP damage delta 5% per debuff on the target, up to 40%. So he could potentially have a 40% HP damage delta. Now with his LD call ability, after you use his LD ability, the call effects for the caller makes it so that the caller has a 20% brave damage delta, a 20% stolen brave max brave overflow limit up, and then when the turn begins, the caller recovers brave based on 20% of their own max brave. Now with Ardyn's LD extension, whenever you use this LD ability, it now turns into a 2-hit AoE melee brave plus a single target HP attack, followed by an 8-hit AoE melee brave plus a single target HP attack. He did get an increase in brave potency by a large amount. He does grant 2 stacks of the spectral charge to himself for 8 actions. He extends the base duration of overkill by 1 action, now being up to 10, and he also gets a free ability used to his skill 1, skill 2, and C65 on his following turn. Now he did get an additional effects on his overkill buff, so he now has a 20% brave damage delta and a 20% HP damage delta, and he also extends the base duration of buffs granted by himself for 1 action. Now for his call ability, whenever the caller uses his call ability, the effects, which last for 3 actions, gives the caller a 20% max brave up, a 20% attack up, a 10% brave damage delta, and a 10% HP damage delta. Now we'll get into Vann and his LD extension before we get into his rework. So with his LD extension, he actually got an additional use now. So now he has up to 4 uses with his LD extension. Now, whenever you use his ability, he lowers the target's element's resist during his attack. Then, whenever you use his LD ability, he grants the mist buff to himself before attacking instead of after. Then, he now deals a 2-hit AoE Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack 6 times. He gets the increase in Brave potency by a tremendous amount, and he grants the Flight to Freedom buff for 8 actions. Now, he did get an additional or 2 additional effects to Mist buff. So he got a 30% attack up, and his own Brave will not go under 20% of his own max Brave. And he also got additional effects to the Flight to Freedom buff. So he got a 20% max Brave up, a 20% Stolen Brave max Brave overflow limit up, and a 10% HP damage delta. Now with his call ability, whenever you use his call ability, his LD call ability, the call effects for the caller, which lasts for 3 actions, the caller gets a 20% max Brave up, a 10% Stolen and Recovered Brave max Brave overflow limit up, and a 10% HP damage delta. Finally, we'll get into Vann's rework. So for his skill 1, when using Red Spiral, it turns into a 4-hit Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. Whenever you use Whiteout, it turns into a 5-hit Ice Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. Now, after you use Red Spiral twice, they both turn into their plus version. So whenever you use Red Spiral plus, you actually get an additional HP attack. And then with Whiteout plus, you also get an additional HP attack. Now with his skill 2, whenever you use White Whirl, it turns into a 4-hit Wind Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. Whenever using Luminescence, it turns into a 5-hit Holy Magic Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. It does deal 20% splash damage, and then after each except last HP attack, he recovers Brave to himself based on 100% of the HP damage dealt. That is the key thing about his skill 2, 100% of the HP damage dealt. That means that Vann is basically capping throughout the entire time that he is using Luminescence. Now, he also improves the success rate of inflicting blind by a small amount. Now, blind makes it so that you have a small chance of the enemy missing whenever they attack you. Now, after using White Whirl twice, they both turn into their plus version. When using White Whirl plus, it now deals 20% splash HP damage. And then whenever you are using Luminescence plus, it turns into a 5-hit Holy Magic Brave plus an HP attack with 3 HP dumps in total. So now we get to the point of the video where you guys determine whether or not it is actually worth pulling on this triple BT banner based off of what you heard so far, and of course what I am about to talk about from my experiences using these characters with their LD extensions, their reworks, so on and so forth on the JP side of operaomnia. So we're going to start off with Kefka, then move on to Ardyn, and then Vann for last. So with Kefka, I love the fact that with his LD extension, depending on the amount of debuffs, you get an increase in the HP damage delta. Like every single debuff that you have, you get an extra 5%, being up to a total of 40%. And not only that, to help you in trying to cap out in the amount or the potential amount of HP damage that you can do with Kefka, but you also got an increase in Brave damage that really helps him out a whole lot. And I mean, aside from like the debuffs that he's able to do, like the HP silence that he does have in his kit, I mean, like Kefka really turns out and just shows that he still is very much reliable as a strong debuffer. So if you are needing a strong debuffer like Kefka, and if you are wanting to throw maybe some tickets or some resources at this banner, even though I know there still are players, and I will probably mention this a couple times during this part of the video, where some players are still waiting for Setzer, you know, then it's not a bad pickup to at least get his LD weapon. In my opinion, I think his LD weapon is really all that you really need. Just from my experiences, because like on the JP side, like I've used him with only his LD and like he performed just fine. So like the nice upgrades that he got with his LD boards, helping him out just in general with his base kit, really like just really pushes him up there as a strong debuffer. Now with Ardyn, you know, if you played around with Noctis, you already know that Ardyn has a bit of similarity between Noctis and Ardyn, but not entirely the same. Of course, with Ardyn, he does have that immortality for a certain amount of time, you know, just depending on how he is used and whatnot. But the good thing is with Ardyn though, like he definitely got that extra little boost in potency, especially having that brave damage increase, that HP damage up also really helps him out as well. So there's really not too much that I could say about Ardyn other than the fact that just those extra little boosts will help him out in dealing the damage that he needs whenever like you take him into like burst, or if you just have him with his LD ability, or you just like use his kit in general. Like those extra little boosts that he gets from his LD extension actually it does actually help him out a good amount. So I mean, if you previously used Ardyn before, do note that, I mean, of course, he has gotten his BT plus. He will be getting his BT plus in roughly about like 3 to 4 months from now. So you have an option to either pick up his kit now, if by chance you have not gotten it like when he first came out originally. Then you have an option to get it later on in about like maybe roughly 4 months once he gets his BT plus. But no, he definitely got what he needed. He definitely got what he was missing in terms of getting that little bit of a boost in brave damage and that extra HP damage increase as well. Now for Vann with his LD extension, the fact that he dishes out extra HP damage on his LD ability is nuts. Of course, having that free ability use on his skills extremely, like really helps him out in his longevity. And I felt like that was one of the biggest things that really killed him about his kit. And now with his LD extension and like what he does now, like it really just like turns around like the character and like some of the issues that he had in the past. Because like the whole like having all of the elementals in his kit like really hurt him. But now at this point, with how they changed up his kit, and now with his rework that he got it with his skill 1 and skill 2, like at this point it really doesn't even matter, because like Vann is, look, I've always said that Vann was always like the Tifa, the magic Tifa, the magic Tifa, like always dealing that insane amount of damage, like, but he is just like the magic version of Tifa. So aside from like the changes that he got and the big plus that he got from his LD extension, like the real big thing in my opinion that really made him shine and made him into a freaking destructive monster was the fact that with his skill 1 and skill 2, I mean especially his skill 2, the fact that you were able to retain 100%, or basically retain, it's about the same thing, recover brave based on 100% of the HP damage dealt in between the HP dumps that you are doing. That's actually pretty nuts. As of right now, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but I don't think there is any other character in the game that is able to retain 100% of the brave damage that they deal in between their attacks. Most of the time it's like maybe 20, maybe a little bit more than that, but 100% is actually pretty freaking nuts. So if you did manage to pick up his LD weapon and his BT weapon, really all you need is his LD weapon in my opinion, because like his LD weapon is what like really like extends his longevity, because it'll give you like those multiple free skill uses, and like, you know, you won't have to worry about anything with that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, really, his BT really just gives you that extra use in LD and everything else. So if you are considering pulling on this banner, do know, and you probably realized this with the last banner with the Equinox event, do know that, I mean, it's kind of a high risk banner, and I only say that only because like you're pulling for 3 LDs, or there are 3 LDs in this banner, there are 3 BTs in this banner, and like if you're only going for 1, it's not the wisest decision to go for one thing unless you are prepared to go to the pity. I mean, like, that's I'm gonna just be blunt and just say it. Like, you know, if you're ready to go to the pity and you really want any of these 3 characters, then, you know, that's totally up to you. I feel like the upgrades that they got with all 3 of these characters are very much solid. All 3 of these characters will or should be getting their high armor plus. I will correct myself in the comment section below. I will double check behind myself. I know Vann does. I'm not 100% sure on Kefka and Ardyn, but I do believe they do get the high armor plus. Like I said, it is, like, in my opinion, it is a bit of a high risk banner. But like, the, you know, if you're needing a strong debuffer, like, Kefka is not a bad option at all. If you're needing a straight destructive damage dealer, Vann is definitely not a bad option at all. And then if you are needing somebody who is able to deal damage at the same time, but can also take hits whenever they are immortal, Ardyn is definitely a solid character as well. His BT effect is not bad either, because if I'm not mistaken, his BT effect gives a good amount of bravery gen, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I am gonna have to double check myself now, because I need to make sure that I don't you know, give misinformation. Like I said, I'll correct myself in the comment section below in a pinned comment. No, overall though, like, this banner, this triple BT banner, if it does get released with the next Equinox banner, Equinox event, is actually a pretty solid banner in my opinion. But like I said, you know, I know a lot of people are waiting for Setzer. I know a lot of people are wondering, like, when the hell is that banner going to be dropping for global? I know that a lot of other players are also waiting for Yuna, because Yuna is literally around the corner, and I myself am waiting for Yuna because she's insane, and we'll talk about that as we get closer to her release, because like I said, she's nuts. Her auras are stupid good. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you are planning on pulling on this banner, do let me know which characters it is, or which character or characters it is that you are thinking about chasing, or what weapons it is you're thinking about chasing, and just, I don't know, overall what you guys think about everything in this video. But yeah, other than that, if you guys did enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future operaomnia content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video.